And we're live. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're also live on
Hi, good
IG.
evening.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BBAAF virtual open mic. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. My name is Sushate Swedi Vershima Agema. And on the other side is our festival co-director, Mr. Owoicho Africa, the enigmatic Africa, who is an amazing person. He is going to be a moderator for the evening, and we're going to have fascinating and fantastic performances. It's largely unscripted, and he shall moderate and bring everybody on stage. We hope to have our session last for an hour and 30 minutes at most. It might be shorter than that. If there are people who need to perform and we can't take all of them, we'll probably make room for another open mic. But for this evening, we want to do everything to fall in between 1 and 30 minutes so that by 9:30 latest we are done. We make a few announcements and everybody can go. Um, Speaking of announcements, we are having the Benue Book and Arts Festival, the main event, the grand event in Makudi, happening on the 21st and 22nd of February 2025. That's next month. We have an opening evening where we'll have performances on the 20th, which is a Thursday, 21st and 22nd. It's going to be mind blowing and it's going to be really, really awesome. I should also mention that we'll be having another event, which is more of the service literary event, and as part of the Benue Book and Arts Festival, a week later in Abuja. That's going to be Africa. That's 1st of March, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, 1st of March in Abuja. So the dates again: arrival evening 20th of February 2025, main event 21st and 22nd February at the Empire Suites in Makudi. And then a week later, we'll be in Abuja at a venue that would be communicated subsequently. Please follow all our social media handles, which is basically at BBAF24, and you'll be able to get all the information you need. Thank you very much. And I hand over to my able festival co-director, Owoicho Africa. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's great having you all. Those of you who are actually on StreamYard with us on the different platform and different channel. As I said, my name is Owoicho Africa, and I'm the co-festival director for the Benue Book and Arts Festival. Yeah, so it's going to be an amazing and marvelous evening. Performances, readings, and all of that. Um, I'm a bit tempted to open the floor, uh, but I think courtesy demands that someone else should do that. So, uh, do we have KJ in the house?
No.
Also, okay, yeah, KJ has joined. Great. Hi, KJ.
Hi. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. So, straight away, we'll just go to the title of your piece. Maybe if you have a short introduction, but then if you can go straight
Okay,
to your
so the
performance.
title of my piece is petitions. So I'll go straight to the
Okay.
performance. When the petition started, it was a woman wearing more audacity than clothes, but tamed into discipline by men who knew the culture of decency. When this petition started, it was disciplined, decent. It was like communion in the mouth of the clergy. It was holy. A young girl is raped by men who called on God to feed their libidos. It was an answered prayer. So we passed it on till it became culture. A woman's marriage becomes a prison wall. She is sentenced to death before she knows what her crime is. The court has no business reconciling one culture with another. So what is left is a petition. A young girl's body is found in a ditch. A search party is sent to all the places the men will find her, from her legs to her chest, and they were empty, but they return with a petition. When a woman's body becomes a petition, do we call it justice or just another case? When a petition becomes a woman whose body has been ragged, dented by too many signatures justice failed to see, too many voices justice became deaf to, too many questions unanswered. What headline does the news make? What details did this victim miss? What toes have we stepped on now? If we keep our legs closed, lock our voices in our throats, and hand the keys over to morality, will it bear witness that all we did was be women? What is moral about a story that ends in the grave? The head goes missing before the lesson is learned. The streets have enough light to cast the girl into a shadow, enough security to hand her a taser, but not enough shame to say that femicide is a culture here. A woman's body is reduced to a hashtag. When a woman's body is reduced to a hashtag, do we call it justice or just another case? Thank you.
That's a beautiful piece. Even though I'm tempted to ask if you have another poem for us.
Okay,
I really love this. Yeah.
I can do another.
Okay, perfect.
So this is going to be a story, and I just want us to enjoy. It's a story, it's a poem, it's both of them. So let's just enjoy. Yeah. So it was my dad's birthday last week, and for his gift, we thought to sing him our songs, try to find new ways to reach him, showed him new trends, told him new trends, sang him new songs, showed him old pictures just to say they are now called throwbacks. One of them was a picture of me at 16. A few moments into making the kind of memories we'd like to recall, my father held up that picture and said, 16 used to be the prime of a woman's beauty. A lot must have truly changed. But nothing has. He was still that cold we studied hard to decrypt, the love always too far to feel. When I was 5, I drew a circle 3 steps away from his feet, asked him to catch me in it. I got a canvas when I was 10, asked him to find me in colors. And when I was 15, my father said, the games you play are not meant for men like me. Like a man was not meant to be caught in the middle of a giggle. Like a man with a life so colorful would only be reduced to a peacock. He kept it black or white, gave us a smile or a smirk, made the joke, shared the laughter, made the dough, gave us shelter. My father has always been God, somewhere up so high we cannot reach him. Yet, we are meant to believe that he loves us so dearly. Well, maybe that would have been easier to believe if he was up in the sky, not somewhere on my mother's bed. See, daddy issues is you learning to love a man who professes love in silence and stern looks, stipends or checkbooks, drives 1,000 miles to show up for you but still looks like he only wants to be seen. Why does it have to be this? A tap on the back because another weakness is a kiss. My father's love is one hit and a miss. Touches everywhere except home. Research says that the first word a baby learns to say is da da. I say that the father must feel so far that he felt the child's first step is an attempt to reach him. But it's been 20 years now, Daddy, and a lot has truly changed. Right now, no one needs a hero more than they need a father. Thank you.
Whoa. Wow, that was really, really, really. I had said we are not going to make any comments after this in depth. That was really, really beautiful. I'm almost tempted to ask for a third one, but no, this is not the KJ evening. We're going to have a time when you probably do your own special session. But thank you very much, KJ, for those beautiful poems. Please, can you just remind us of what the names of those poems are?
So the first one is petitions, and the second is daddy issues.
Daddy issues. Well, really beautiful. Thank you very much. Don't disappear. We might need you to come and give us an encore if we have enough time. Just one last one. But for now, we are bringing to the stage Emmanuel Sanusi if he's ready. Yes, he's ready. So, Emmanuel, welcome to the stage and take the mic.
Mm. Hello, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Sanusi. My short poem actually speaks about the event of death and the imprint it leaves. It's titled The Story of Our Lives One. So I proceed. Should we sit in silence and mourn the deaths of our people? Who are we, if not the sons? Dim lights spread across broken rooms. In the quiet of the room, all the photographs are turned to face the wall. We respect the dead because to die is to become a hollow, and we respect the deaths because we are afraid, and all our teeth cold with kisses, each in the dark, and yet a wailing outside. Our small neighborhood weep for the deaths of my people, and the streets, even as I cannot see it, slips away into memory, then forgotten like a ripple in the bosom of waters. Should we sit in the despair that is our home, scratch from the already fading pitch paints of the wall? Should we mourn the absence of ghosts in the presence of lifelessness? Whose sons are we, if not of the heavy heads without crowns? Mouthful of glitter. If we cry, our voices are a creak, and in the cold of our silent mourning, we hold each other's hand to try and find ourselves already lost. The art of the living is damned to heaviness, and like small palms on wild chests, we feel for pause in the depths that is our lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. That was really, really, really lovely. In just two sentences or just slightly more, can you tell us what that poem was about and what inspired it?
So I lost my mom at a very like young age.
Ouch.
Yeah, so
Alhamdulillah.
basically it basically describes the events of death and the imprint it leaves on the living, on like relatives, or the imprint death itself as an event
Mm-hmm.
leaves.
It's
Yeah,
well.
so exactly. So it basically describes the imprint, the death, the occurrence of death actually lives on the living, on we actually that are still alive and can experience life.
It's well. When I don't know, there's just something about poems that deal with death and things of the sort. There's a way they are really heavy. Very thoughtful poem. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. Hopefully, when we do the next open mic, we'll get to see you read another poem for us.
Most definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. So, now we are bringing up to the stage the one and only mischievous Jerry Chimeke. You see, it's mischief is showing.
Hi everyone, good evening. When you say mysterious, sorry, it made me laugh. Good evening everyone. I don't know how many of us are here, but yes, I'm gonna present a fairly short essay. Simple title, not really complex, baby friendly. Um, this one's called When You Fall Out of Love. When do you know that the love you once had for your man has waned? Is it when you send a 3-page long text detailing how you're sick of the sound of his very breathing, refusing to afford him the dignity of a physical conversation, slamming the gavel in your court of emotions with no room for an locutus? Or was it long before that? Between the nights you crawled from his arms in the middle of a sleepover to put his friend's todger in your mouth, and the afternoon you yelled that you hated chocolate cake in response to his Valentine's Day surprise, your affections had long walked out the door. You put up a good show in those final 60 days. Ryla Davis would have been proud, but 100 copper pieces do not an ounce of gold make. What does it take to fall out of love? No, the question should be, what does it take for the curiosity to have run its course? It means bludgeoning me with questions as to why I commented on a friend's Instagram post. It means responding to harmless texts sent to me by numbers saved with female names. It means crashing into me with kisses after a late night out, as if coitus was the soap. to wash away the guilt of tasting the skin of another. What does it mean for you to stray? It's bumping into me the soiree and unwittingly talking about how I share the same fragrance as Willis. Do you know how intimate you have to be with another person to be familiar with their cologne? What does it mean to be absent? There are a dozen responses to give when your lover complains about having a panic attack 24 hours before he should compare a major event, but few would conceive a statement in the lines of, fuck you and your anxiety. You're not the first to be diagnosed with depression. Love loses its meaning when all that drives it is control. Didn't you admit to winding me up just so you would see if I would hit you, just so you could hold that over my head? Didn't you enjoy how I chased you from Yaba to that radio studio at Ikoyi? I remember the sound of your slow giggles behind the door on that moonless Saturday evening as I pleaded with you to hear me out. It's not like I've always covered myself in glory. Maybe that trip to Ibadan should have never happened, but then I was locked in a room for 2 hours by a scorned woman, so there's that. When does love become a weapon of war? It takes the shape of an alarmist message to your soon-to-be former lover's father, whom you know has a history of high blood pressure, but whom you decide to put in harm's way just to get one over the man you once claimed to love. It takes the shape of changing passwords and access codes to websites you build together. It takes the shape of a vicious poison pen letter to his father when you see that he wants nothing to do with you. Do you know what it feels like to be the last one to know that the key to the padlock has changed? Our parents and older relatives love to tell us about how we shouldn't burn bridges. They fail to consider the possibility of certain bridges leading back to Gehenna. Should you have gone to Taco Bay while switching your phone off for a weekend? Should I have refrained from heading to the strip club that Thursday night? Was it necessary for you to withhold your body as punishment because I dared to buy lunch for a lady friend? Should I have been more supportive on the day you moved to Cole Street without seeking my input? These things matter little now. Hamlet staged a performance just so he could see Claudia's face shrivel in guilt. Were those tickets to Girls Trip and acrimony subtle digs at our financial dynamic? Didn't you just love being at the wheels? What if I told you that on the night the police threw me into that minivan at Dolphin, cold steel kissing my back as they bundled me to the estate station? I felt less chaos than what I experienced in the last 5 months with you. What if I said that you made me miss the bedbugs at that counter? I'd have traded 2 evenings with you arguing over saltless macaroni and phone calls to old friends for 5 nights on that cool bench with the same Yoruba film on repeat. Incarceration is a relative term. Sometimes it's lying on a mattress that no longer feels like home for 152 mornings. Take me back to 8 Januaries ago. Time machines only exist in movies and sci-fi novels. But maybe if I had a little pick in the frosty cordiality we share now, maybe I'd have treated your text a lot differently. Hindsight is 2020. Oh well. Or at least that's what they say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, you said that was an essay
Yeah.
based on you, based on someone else, something that happened to you,
It's
or
non-fiction. Just leave it like that.
no? We
It's
are
non-fiction.
interested in this non-fiction. This non-fiction is
Leave
quite
it.
is Jeffrey Archer standard mixed with a bit of what's that other guy again? Okay, fine, don't worry. We'll pity you. We'll meet you in the backyard. For now, that's
Thank you.
okay. What inspired it, if I may ask?
I mean, it's just mulling over a situation you shouldn't have been. Now, it's not a situationship. No, this is an actual romance that both parties invested themselves in. So basically, there were two people who were bad for each other. So
Oh,
this
okay.
person did wrong and this person did wrong, and then well, one person is speaking from multiple perspectives. Like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done this and this and this. The way we ended was too combustible. It was a mess. So
So they fired themselves too much. Quite combustible.
Basically,
Okay.
like the film Malcolm and Marie, something like that.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah, oh yeah. The Zendaya movie, right?
Yes.
What's his name? Somebody Washington.
I think David Washington or so.
Was it David or Isaac?
I'll check. I think it's David.
Because I know two of them. Anyway, whatever it is, yes. That's yeah, I think it was David, yes. The black and white movie.
Yes, that
Really
one.
lovely movie. Thank you very much for coming on stage. We are going to, I think from the look of things, we are definitely going to have to do another open mic. And maybe when we do that one, we would ask more hard hitting questions and try to ensure that people don't waste non-fiction, just leave it like that. Because you can't just pick us up and just leave us high and dry like that. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for
I'll
having
be
me.
taking you off the stage now, and I'll be bringing a man who has several names. He is Tom, he's Taiwo, he's Michael, he's James, he's Gregory. Please welcome all of us, everybody, please join me as I welcome Taiwo, Michael, Oloyede to the stage.
Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
I think there's something in your background, TV or so.
Oh,
Oh,
uh,
don't worry, it's fine. It can be your background music. Just shoot on.
okay. So, for me, can you help me reduce that distance more? Okay, so this is titled 10,000 Stones of Instructions. Um, I bid you to come just for a second into this coven of tax and tax, this river fraught with demands, fretted with routines, a tedium of commands, ablutions for things abdicated, shoulders raised in rebellion, as patriotic as defiance. We've reached the hills of curves, the tongue laced with reprieve. 10,000 stones of instruction, this body layered with burdens appended to a skull of recipes, a thick shadowed base, come into the hin. Navigate the upward straight towards the sea of commandment. Bend and bend again, like the skyline of your body, basket of light over a laughing meadow. Spread like buttocks, be calm as butter spreads between your thighs. But do not hesitate to feed your skirts, scoop adventure upstream. Wait downstream for his shots to blaze. You are his sailboat. Let him moor in your dockyard, but reject this infamy as your lot. The curse of Lot's wife sought out of season, trampled under feet, resets the use case for the case you came in, this god of feminine magnificence. This case of comparison to fairies each night, you rest your emotions in an orphanage. You yell the recital of loathing and hack like Buddha's palm to summon chaos into wonder. You are not an item, nor an article. Antebellum script for elegy, hanging for a reprisal. Own your ways and steer the boat towards happiness. Navigate this riverine of womanhood with candor and toughness. Rest your heels on the collar of the head. Thank you. That's the point.
And here I
Are you
am.
there?
No, I was not, but here I am. Thank you very much, Tom, for that brilliant poem. I love the way you read it. But I'll tell the whole world now that you had promised us that you are going to do something with the Thompson, with your talking drum or so. And I was
Oh.
really looking forward to that. But I mean, if this is how you want to cuckoo do it, and spread your bomb bomb and stuff like that, that still works. We We'll probably wait for the next time when you would let the talking drums
Oh,
do the
okay.
talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For today, we are going to let you go. If you just tell us in 2 sentences what that poem was about, what you
Yeah,
had, what
the
inspired it,
yeah,
and then we'll invite
the
Africa back.
poem. Yeah, the poem is actually about womanhood. It's a woman walking with her shoulders high. It's just to tell you that beyond all the 10,000 instructions you're given in life, you need to learn to put your own color on the neck of the head. You need to be able
Hmm.
to have your own say. You need to be able to have your own direction. People summon women to chaos. Women are always the butt of a whole lot of stuff. It was a woman that was caught in the act in the Bible. Where was the man? Women are always sometimes downplayed. But so I won't seem like some sort of appropriation. So I just decided to, I just remember 10,000, 10,000 stones of instructions. People just, everybody instructs you, don't do this, don't do that, don't cross your leg, don't open your leg when you sleep. If a guy should cross you, you get pregnant, just different stuff and every other stuff. And when you have a baby girl, you don't want all these instructions playing into esteem.
Mm-hmm.
They could actually form some part of their ego, which is camouflage insecurities.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you build healthy female and that they come, they grow up confident, they grow up knowing what they want and choosing what they want to do without being pressured or badly influenced by stones of instructions.
Well said. Well said. Thank you very much. And we hope that all our women would grow to be the best they can be without any form of intimidation or restriction from any corner. Thank you very much. And we'll be
You're
taking you
welcome.
off the stage
Thank you
now.
so much. I appreciate it. Cheers, everybody.
Hoping to catch you again soon.
Very
Right. Owoicho, you're on the stage again. Hopefully you're not going to disappear on us again, or have you disappeared already? As your
Yes,
punishment, you're going to
good
have to
evening.
perform. You're going to have to perform one poem before you go ahead. So
Uh, okay, so sorry. Despite I was trying to use MTN, use network and all, I still couldn't escape the network problem. So yeah, let me do a poem, or maybe I should read a poem instead. So I'll read a poem from my first project of poetry titled "We Will Sing Water." So maybe let me read what poem? What poem should I? Let me read Zayani. I'll read Zayani, or let me read Arani instead. Arani. Remember the songs you stole from your father's pouch, and the way you made our bed in the form of reggae. How you spanked my lips in kisses and said in a hush, African Salibore Zimbabwe, Ayanaya Libore Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was a soft dream on your tongue, and you would say, soft dreams are afraid of being broken by nightmares. I wove another dream into your night. Africa, unite. Africa, unite. Because we are moving right out of Babylon. You and I became a volume in the voice of dreams in Zimbabwe. We kissed mountains, left prints and dreamt laughter and cuddles. Arani, before your exodus to the graveyard, I held your kisses like this, your body and heart, Zimbabwe and Africa. I remember the last song your grave-bound body vibrates to. If a fire, make it burn, and I sang along, make it burn, make it burn, make it burn. I picked the wailers and your silence hailed my wails. Arani, here are our dreams sleeping with Mali. I am aging and I see no stones rising. Yes, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's great having all of you watching us from every part of the world this evening. And yes, this is still part of the Benue Book and Arts Festival. And we recently finished the Nottingham edition, and the Makurdi Benue State edition is coming up on the 21st and 22nd of February at Empire Suite in Makurdi, Benue State. So yeah, you are all expected to be there if you can make it. But for those who cannot, you can follow us on all of our social media channels, so you can be a part of this beautiful annual festival. Thank you so much. And I'm thinking, who should we take next? Who should we take next?
that's fine. I would.
Ogasu,
There are some poems here.
should we take you next, since you got me to read?
That's fine. There are some poems that were sent to us to read. One from Stephen Adinoye, and one from one from Denja Abdullahi, and another from Dami Ajayi. So we'll just read the poems quickly, and I'll probably read one from a new book that just came in today. and then we move on. But let's start with Stephen Adinoi's poem, and it reads thus: Read! Read to take the lead. Read the library, read her gold mine to become golden. The book leads to bliss. In it lies seed of knowledge that sprouts intelligence. Influence and affluence. Read, my people, read. The book is the eyes of the past, a telescope for tomorrow and a correction for today. Read to read of ignorance, read. Read to read yourself of poverty, read. Read, read, and greatness you will breed. That is the poem. Read, R-E-A-D, by Stephen Adinoye. Thank you very much, Stephen, for your poem, and we have put it up. The next one is by, okay, there's another one by Mikhail Tefa Akundu called A Futile Whirlpool. I've not read this one before. I've not seen it before. So if I read it anyhow, please don't vex too much. See how beautiful you are as the satiating waters dripping from heavenly fountains, or as sips from tranquil pools of oasis. Oh, praise be the making of a wonder. All hail the beauty goddess. Praise be the hand of God upon the sculpt. My obdurate gratitude is to a divine craftsmanship which lit you the sun, moon, and stars. For indeed, charity is to my eyes done. 'Tis a humbling honor to behold a gilded craft so sacred. Your beauty's blessing roosts atop the monastery spire, and these blurry lenses deny my eyes your cynic, viable visages, with these callous clouds crippling my cravings, my frank cravings to possession. Wild sea tides wreck my boat at the silent end of this shore, seeding to me a dire fate of my botched sail, as thoughts are left to wildly wander back and forth, dreaming in misty or shadowy meadows of a distant blue. Oh, how I stumbled on a jewel beyond unsteady clouds, for which these hands shall forever seek in a futile whirlpool. That's by Mikhail Tefa Akundu. We have just two more that have been sent in, and the first is Zone 4 by Denja Abdullahi. It's taken from this book, African Urban Echoes, a poetry anthology edited by Jide Shalau and Rasak Malik. And Denja Abdullahi is a very, very one of the more popular Nigerian writers and creatives. He has been the president of the Association of Nigerian Authors before. He is a director in what ministry is that again? Africa?
National Council for Arts and Culture, Department of Performing Arts.
Indeed. And he's also one of our guests at the Benue Book and Arts Festival holding in Makurdi from the 20th to the 22nd of February at Empire Suites. We cannot announce that enough. So this is a very short one, Zone 4. Flushed faces. Zone 4, if you know Zone 4 is a very interesting place. Zone 4 is the area that leads towards what used to be Sheraton Hotel. Back then, there was a junction they used to call Ashawo Junction or something of that nature. But then Abdullahi is writing that Zone 4 is flushed faces, tempting cleavages, too sweet smiles, melodious backsides jostling for attention, coquettish eyes x-rays, bulging pockets and groins. Shish kebab wafts meaty spices from opposite lanes. The malams rearrange slices of dripping fruits. From a four-wheeler, Voyo peeps, undecided on the juiciest of them all. Which one of them should he take? Welcome to Zone 4. And the final poem sent to us from the same collection, African Urban Echoes, a poetry anthology edited by Jide Shalao and Rasak Malik. It's the poem The Patriot by Dami Ajayi, a multiple award-winning and well-regarded poet and doctor of the mind. The Patriot by Dami Ajayi. The squirrel singed pate fits the plate as a propitiation for fate's palate. Gosh, this guy's poem will break my teeth. The patriot who chose land over love, over fawning, stands with unease, hoisting an awning of a roadside stall in Yaba, his ears adjacent to the diaphragm of the record store speaker, whilst lightning scuttled skies otherwise translucent, and the storekeeper prizes her billowing skirt from the winds. Lado in hand, warmth in her heart, gratitude for the dutiful patriot's bravery and her graceful movements, a small dance, a stooped routine of tending gravy. Years later, a British passport in hand, fits the hand toiling that stormy evening, now blurry, a worthy reward, a sword on the shoulder blade, like the sitting soup of turkey and other things that by God's grace will not break my teeth. And that is Dami Ajayi's poem, The Patriot. And having read all these poems, I think it is okay to bring another interesting creative, a multiple award-winning author and writer, the managing editor of Journal of African Youth Literature, the one and only Ibrahim Babatunde Ibrahim, aka HEEM, him. Sir, we are bringing you to the stage, and you look good already, so don't worry, you don't need to put any extra makeup.
I'm going to be doing my reading from the road. A very, very interesting prospect. I haven't done that before. Anyway, I'll get straight to it. The title of this story is The Work of a Shoe. That's the work of the devil. Usually, we're familiar with, most of us are familiar with, like when something goes wrong and you get questioned, and then the answer is that it is the work of the devil, if you know what I mean. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? All right, the app says everyone can see and hear you, so I'll just,
We can hear you clearly,
yeah, I'll just go along. Once upon
but
a
you're having
time in the
stage fright,
village
it's
of,
not us.
I've not what?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so once upon a time in the village of K2, the king was near his death, and his beautiful daughter Emiola had to pick a suitor who would succeed him. You will struggle to believe me if I told you I was her favorite suitor. You will squeeze your face at the hunch that has broadened my back and cuffed me into a permanent bend. You will fold lines in your forehead at the sight of my home, the dingy cave by the mouth of Okun. You will conclude that I cannot possibly be serious. A silly mistake was all it took. It is by my own hands and my own actions that this evil has befallen me. I was among those who would see a shoe and make jest of his colored face, join others to laugh at his staggered steps, or decline when he asks for water to quench his thirst. He who doesn't know a shoe asks to be the subject of his deadly mischief. Once the ignorance is turned off such a person's eyes, he will wish, like me, that his deeds can be undone. Unfortunately, once time has passed on an action, it becomes indelible. I know this too well, and that is why I'm telling you this story. My story is one for another day. Perhaps it will make more sense if I first show you what I see from this hilltop where I am perched. Taye has just hit his twin, Kendi, hard across the face. Kennedy acts surprised, but he wastes no time to wheel the inside of his palm in retaliation. A little distance down the path, Eshu whistles a happy tune as he staggers away from the feuding brothers. They have allowed him to pass through their middle, and by this, their veil of ignorance shall be torn to pieces. Taya and Kennedy are known to be respecters of no one, but they never argue between themselves, talk less of engage in a bout. Earlier in the day, I watched them hide behind the shrubs that line both sides of the road. then leap out to frighten little Oriyomi, one from either side. The poor boy was returning from his father's farm with a heap of bundled yams sitting on his head. He quickly threw down the bundle and scampered away in fear. The twins must not have known that Oriyomi's father gives half of his yearly harvest to Ishu as an appeasement for an age-long misdeed. Shortly after, the boys lit a fire and cut some of the yams into small pieces. They placed this over the fire to roast. I could hear the voice of one singing Ewi and could see the other stamping his feet in a dance. Soon, Eshu appeared along the path, staggering towards the boys. I saw him point at the tubers lying nearby, as well as the pieces roasting in the fire. He must have been telling them they belonged to him, but the boys only laughed. Their laughter was so loud that it made some resting birds take flight. A curious monkey leaped from tree to tree past me to see what was happening down there. I saw Ishu's shoulder lift in a shrug, and his finger point so that they could make way for him to pass. Then they split up and made the mistake of letting him pass through their middle. They started to argue just after, and it was so loud I could hear every word. Taye asked if Kende saw how strangely Ishu's voice had the same black color as his clothes. Kende replied that the clothes and face were red, not black. The exchange was starting to bore me, and I was just looking away when I heard the slap. Now Kende has hit back at his brother. Eshu turns to look back, the painting on one side of his face red, and the other side black, just like his clothes. He parts his lips in an ugly snare, laughing at the brawl. There's nothing I hate more about Eshu than that ugly laugh. I heard it for the first time after I became his victim. As a suitor to the king's daughter, I had a beautiful life ahead of me, but I also had my guilty pleasures. Aduke, my mother's maid, had grown up before my very eyes, from a flat-chested little girl to a voluptuous, pretty woman. When a laborer from my father's farm began to get too close to her, I began to have ideas of my own. Sometimes, when no one was looking, I would grab and feel the softness of her backside, or make to touch her breasts. Often she would object, but a mate's reluctance is nothing to a master's will. Soon, when everybody else was fast asleep, I was sneaking into the barn where she passed the night with the livestock. I started to notice the laborer frowned whenever he passed by me, but I couldn't be bothered. Even when one afternoon he sang an incantation, a eulogy of Ishu, with his eyes set on me. He didn't move me one bit. Late one evening, after a light shower had wetted the ground and left a smell of dust hanging in the air, Aduke came to see me, dressed in ofi befitting of a princess. She had beads cycling her waist and dark tiro lining the edges of her eyes. I was surprised to see her smiling seductively, asking if I was coming to her that night. I licked my lips and nodded. Then she turned and made me watch her backside jiggle as she walked away. Princess Emiola had sent a messenger. She had missed me and wondered if I could meet her at our usual spot behind the palace when everyone was asleep. I told the messenger to tell her to sleep tonight. I didn't feel too good, but I surely would tomorrow. When I could hear the entire house snoring, I got on my tiptoes and went off into the barn. Aduke was waiting, but the seductive smile was gone. She asked me to stop because she was wearing a spell of a shoe given to her by her man, the laborer. I spat into the ground and struck her on the face. Then I pushed her against the bamboo wall and started to touch her all over. With each touch, I felt a load fall on my back. Before I could realize and stop, it had grown as big as it is now and bent me over. Then that ugly laughter filled the barn from the darkness surrounding it. And before long, it felt like all the animals in there were laughing too. Eshu had caught me and placed a weight the size of my misdeed on my back. I will carry it around forever for everyone to know what I have done. When people ask about this hunch, I sometimes say it is the work of Eshu. Taye's clothes has caught fire. I hope it doesn't burn to death. I'm sure when Kende too is asked, like me, he will shift the blame and say the same thing. It is the work of Eshu. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, him. That was a really lovely piece,
Thank
and
you.
dark, quite dark. I mean, it's not surprising that you're where you are because I think where you are is quite dark too. But really interesting story.
Thank you.
And your introduction
Yeah.
gave us quite an insight into it. How we all go like, is the devil, is the devil, is the devil, devil
Yeah.
bawo. But yeah, thank you very much for that. Would you like to give us maybe in 2 sentences what inspired the story?
Okay, so
Because
like,
we already know what the story is, just what
yeah.
inspired it.
So like the work, it is the work of the devil is like an inspiration for the story, but there's a bigger one, and that is the
Mm,
fact that um when you ask an average person today, even Yoruba, because issue is the Yoruba word, right? Even
mhm,
an average Yoruba person, when you ask them to translate the word Satan into Yoruba, they will tell you it is Eshu. And that is a very, very huge misconception because Eshu is an entity in itself. Eshu is Eshu. It is not to exonerate Eshu and say that Eshu is not evil or mischievous or whatever word we want to use to describe him. But it is wrong to say that Eshu is the same as the biblical or the Quranic Satan. Eshu existed before the white man brought the biblical Satan to us. And it
mhm.
just so happened that when the translation of the Bible was being done, it was the character that suited the description of the Satan that Bishop Ajayi Crowther was trying to translate at the time the most. So I don't think it was supposed to be a permanent translation. I think it was maybe
Mm,
like a description at the time. But when you ask
mm.
us today, like over 90% of Yorubas think Eshu is devil. And, it's just my own way of trying to show the character Eshu, who Eshu really is as a god, so to speak, in the Yoruba mythology, the realm of gods and with his own duties, as such as like exacting revenge on people who have done bad and things like that. Yeah,
So he's a
and
Loki
him
of
and him,
sorts.
that kind of thing. That kind of thing. He wears a clothes that is red on one part and black on one part, and when he passes through a
Ah,
place,
that's the
some
normal
some
cloth. No wonder Africa.
yeah. So some people see red, other people see black, and they never agree that it
Mm.
could actually be half black, half red. This person wants to be right now. No, 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 it's black. The other person wants to be right. No, 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 it's red. And then they start to fight. And this is part of the mischief, the
Mhm.
mischievous nature of issue as an entity.
Indeed. Well said.
Okay,
Africa.
now I think that's quite interesting because the traditional color for my ethnic group, the Domas, is actually red and black. you know,
Mm,
and
interesting.
recently with the Two Face and Annie saga, lots of
Yeah.
people have come out to say fear Idoma guys and all of it.
No, no,
So
no,
basically,
no,
we
no.
are related to Ishu. Who knows?
I have a lot of Idoma guys as friends, even from entertainment. A lot of people don't know, but Magneto is Idoma. Magneto the rapper. Terry G is Idoma. Two Face, Blackface, and the
oh,
rest of them. And all of these
oh
guys are
well.
awesome guys. So no, they
Okay.
are not a shoe. I beg.
It's the
But
awesomeness.
I like I like the description of Ishu. It sounds like a character I would want to explore further. But that's why I'm not saying I'm Ishu, by the way. So
Exactly, exactly.
so Ibrahim, just a quick one. I think more than anything else, I love the audacity of reconstructing our traditional belief system in modern days, especially. So some people believe that colonialism is long over. So why are you people still interested in this
Hmm,
conversation? How does that
hmm,
put food on my table?
hmm.
So I want to ask you, what do you think is the importance of reclaiming our cultural authenticity in the 21st century?
Okay.
Okay, so to start with, yeah, there's this common saying that I'm sure we're all familiar with. He who does not know where it's coming from, you might think you know where you're going, but you really don't. And then we
Mm,
complain a lot about We complain a lot about how uh, the people in the global north, the west, have it all sorted out, have it all put together, and it looks like we're playing catch up. To start with, I feel like a motivating factor for a lot of us writers is the fact that growing up we did not see characters that looked like us in the book that we read in school, and now that we're telling the stories, I can say categorically that for me, the way African literature was looked at when I was growing up, it was almost non-existent. Like the books were kind of like second grade. It's not the same today, right? And that's just one aspect of our lives. Like if we are talking about growth and we're talking about us developing, and we're talking about it in um, we're talking about it outside of colonialism, because colonialism is part of our history, of course, but our history did not start from that. So if we're going to reclaim our identity, the first thing that we need to do is to look back beyond colonialism and slavery, because there's so much that we actually had going on before these guys came to us, and then we look at them and feel like, yeah, they brought civilization. We had civilization before they came. We had so many kingdoms. The Oyo Empire, the so many kingdoms. We cannot start with the name. We have so many empires at the time. They were actually striving with their own system of government and commerce, and all of that. So we don't necessarily have to go back into the past, but we need to understand that um our development did not start. If anything, it was disrupted.
Right.
I know that this is supposed to be short, but I will just say something.
Don't worry.
Just
Ordinarily, we would not have given you so much time. The next person who was meant to read, myself, the person has been having Nigerian network issues, so that's
uh
why you are taking time. But after this
okay.
one, we'll kick you off so that I can read one final
Bef-
poem. We'll do
before
announcements and maybe we end.
before you kick me off, let me just give us this interesting example. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so during COVID, they were doing vaccines, right? And we were all locked up. And if at some point, I'm sure everybody must have thought, like, is this the end of the world? Would a cure ever be found? So how was a
Yeah.
cure found? I was watching a video online yesterday. Some of you guys might be familiar with the name Onesimus. It's a black slave that was enslaved in Boston at the time, and they had a smallpox epidemic that was
Mm-hmm.
going to wipe out the entire city. And he looked at them, right? Everybody was falling sick. He was immune, and they didn't understand it. So he looked at them and said, "I know how we can fight this thing. So how do you think we can fight it? We need to take the pus from someone who is infected and put it into our body. That is how. Today we know it as inoculation. That's how we can find. They laughed at him like, "Are you mad? Like we should take the disease and put it in our body, and that's how we're fighting it."
Mm-hmm.
But I think somebody just reasoned and thought, so this guy hasn't actually caught this thing, and he said that it's because he's been inoculated. This method that he's proposing is actually happened to him. He's done it back before he was enslaved. Maybe we
Mm-hmm.
should try it. And they did try it, and it saved Boston. And today is recognized as one of the most illustrious citizens of sons of Boston, even though he was only a slave at the time. His name is Onesimus, spelled one Simus. You can look at him and Google it. So if we had knowledge at the time, that was so far ahead that these people could not even think, could not even imagine that it was possible, that they only laughed at it. If we had it before slavery came, how much more do you think we had? So if we're laughing at ourselves and talking about our history and reclaiming and feeling like some people want to go back into ancient times when other people are moving forward, it's because we really do not know how much we have lost in that period. Make I not too bold now. That's about it, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for being with us. We hope you have a lovely evening. And when we do our next open mic session, we would definitely like to bring you up again.
Most definitely. Most
All right.
definitely. Thank you,
Um,
guys.
so we have some open slots. If we have anybody in the studio who would like to read, or if we have anybody who is watching online who would want to read, you can actually comment on any of them, and we would invite you to the studio and bring you up. So we are giving just that short chance. I mean, a minute or two at most. Doop, 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 doop. Anybody? Somebody? Nobody? Lekon is smiling big, big. Let's see. Hi, Lekon.
Hi, Swede. You all right?
I'm alright. I'm alright. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, 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 good.
You said you want to recite a poem for us,
No,
or you
no,
want to just give us?
I was just waving hi. I'm enjoying the moment. So I was just
Okay.
waving, say hi to you guys. It's lovely to be
Okay.
here again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice to hear you. Nice to see you again.
thank you.
We just got a message. I can't find. Where is Sabitu Ajibola? I'm trying. Aha, there you are. There you are. I found you. All right, Lekon, we shall
All
see
right,
you again.
peace.
Prepare for the next one, or you're definitely going to read. Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
that's fine.
All right then. Catch you later. Cheers. And we're bringing to the stage now Sabitu Ajibola.
Hi,
Hello. How far
hello.
now?
I do, right? Can you hear me?
Ah, overdose myself. I mean, we are here. Can you hear me? We can hear you. Don't tear our ears with your voice, Joe.
All
All
right,
right.
that's fine.
What are you reading for us?
A poem. It's about
Mhm.
music,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I will dive into it right now. So,
Cool.
what's promised is the swiftness of the lyrics through the taste buds. What's promised is a dirge, a mellow in the animal of the wound, a soft blue beneath the bending of the skin, a smoke wild as fire before whatever wishes to be touched by warmth, to be held by the flames of burning. What's promised is a good dance, a tango, old creek swaying to the nostalgia of moonlit homes, a art flourishing in the rhythm of beats. What's promised is a slow song, a reminder that war songs, unlike love songs, doesn't measure the balance between the dance and where the feet wants to go home. So that's the end of the poem, and the poem is just trying to talk about music, how it gets to us, and how music is a universal language, and yeah. So basically, that's it.
Said, well said, well said, well said. Thank you very much for sharing. It's good to know that you have skills for the lenses, awesome camera skills. You take awesome pictures, and you have awesome poetic skills too. We
Thank you.
hope to get to hear more of your poems, to read
Yeah.
more of your poems, and we hope you can send us what you have, if possible. We are trying to collate some of the things we are reading here into
Right.
something online. So if you can drop it on our group page, we would
Right.
love to put it up on the site. But other than that, thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
you're definitely going to be on the list for the next virtual reading again.
That's fine.
Cool. Um, I have a feeling that nobody else wants to read. So since nobody wants to read, I shall take the final poem, and then after that, do the announcements and we would leave. So this is a poem titled Memories Hold on Mother's Day. And it goes first. It's taken from my collection, Memory and the Call of Waters, which was a finalist for the NLNG Nigeria Prize for Literature in 2022, which was eventually won by Romeo Oriogun with his beautiful, beautiful collection, Nomad. The other finalist was Sadiq Zukogi with his own beautiful collection, You Killed My... Sorry. Oh God, why do I keep doing this? I always have an issue pronouncing the title. Like, Your Crib, My Kibla. Yes, that's it. Right. So this is Memories Hold on Mother's Day from the collection Memory and the Call of Water. It's dedicated to my mother, Chris Ayede Agema, to my other mother, Maria Duro, to Eugenia Boo, Dora Oyana, and of course, my wife, Agatha Agema. The fires of life are lit from wombs that warm 9 months to bring wonders, whose brightness denies smokes. Theirs are tales, ours all narratives. These tales fill our life, footnotes of strife that mount memories, foundations of our strength to fight, to win, to lose, and live. An early chapter appears on my mind sheets, me shivering with upturned eyes, my tale spiraling to a close, each even as I called your name to deliver me from fever. Mommy! What other name burns in a child's heart in times of strain? But you are far away, seeking means to find our bread of sustenance. You arrived home at midnight after a 17-hour shift, wearing your tiredness like a coat. Your eyes met my shivering frame, and motherly instinct undressed your exhaustion as you picked me up. Your feet became wings, speeding our run to the nearest hospital miles away. We had silence for our companion, and when it became too comfortable, a sob from you or some more clattering from my teeth. We found the hospital after an eternity on our feet, me on your back like a rider on a donkey. By dawn, I was well enough to smile my way to another day. And you, mother, you simply took your bath and found the road to walk again. And now the chapters roll, and quickly I find myself years away. Our tale has made me a wandering man, seeking bread for my mouth. And the boy who took a ride on your back yesterday walks the streets today to seek remnants of wealth that hides in the countries yesterday. I call and your voice is a whisper that sneaks in on the other side. A laugh only you can conjure appears on my mind. I tried to translate it to words, but you cut me short. Hello, son, I can't talk. The boss is watching and I have hours to clock before I close. It is Sunday and your increasing gray hair is no excuse to decrease your manual hours, seeking the bread you have placed on our tables through the several pages of our tales. I nearly charge at Napoleon, who lets you walk blind to the bend time has brought to your waist. The boss calls, you answer my unsaid charge. I swallow poverty's impotence. The line clicks off as work drags your love away, leaving me with the memory of a warmth no distance can hide. And in that moment, I know that even if it was the last thing I do, I would still be writing another poem about you, my dear mother. The end. Africa. Okay, he's off. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we have one last person. Okay, I didn't see that. The very last person is Michael. Michael is coming
That
to
was a beautiful one, Ogasu.
Thank you very much, Oga Africa. even though you disappeared. Right. I was going to say we're about to bring Michael on. Sorry, that poem was actually
Well,
based on something, so it usually leaves me teary-eyed a bit. So we're going to bring one last person, Africa. We can still discuss the poem in the future. For now, we have to bring one last person because it's 8:20 and we have 10 minutes to be done. We want to be out of here by 9:30, no matter what. So, Michael, if you're ready, we're ready for you. Looking good. That's a lovely background. Caught me so, Baba.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. What are you reading for us?
I'll be reading from the piece of my
yeah,
poem.
good evening.
The title of the poem is "Blessed Be Our Names."
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're ready, the stage
Okay.
is yours.
Before the night fades into a certain darkness, the evening breeze, slow in its merciful tenderness, will settle into our skins. Our mouth filled with light, filled with grace, teeth aligned into a soft song, roses in the bed of chaos, thrive through the 7 layers of what to come. Before we let ourselves yield, we touch the waters, the green field of lowliness, sprawl across the lawn, petals bent into a blossom, flowers kissing honeybees. There's no pollination here, only the fact that whatever we touch has flourished so fine. Whatever darkness lingering before the despair of our lives is dimmed to its beauty, we raise our hands into the breathlessness of being blessed with a beautiful life. Our extravagant love for colors is the humility that only the simplest things of life move us. We sway into a dance, nostalgia in the art of gold. We remind ourselves how we have come so well into life. There's no room for treason, no space for violence, only the love of world, only the love of men whose mother have told what to do with their lives, what to do with a large heart filled with love. Thank you. That's the end of my poem.
Yay. Okay, every time I say yay, my mic will mute. I don't know why. But thank you very much for the poem. Um, can you okay, somebody is saying we are meant to have clap emoticons or something, but we don't have it. So let me be clapping on behalf of everybody in the studio and everywhere too. Well done. Thank you very much. Can you
Thank you.
just tell us what that poem was about? What inspired it?
Okay. The poem inspired by the gratitude of life,
Mm,
healing hope, about appreciating beauty despite the challenges, overcoming darkness with love and light, and then finding peace in simple things like breeze, waters, and flowers, and then remembering wisdom and loved ones.
mm. Well said. Well said. All right. Thank you very much for performing for us. Thank you for that poem, and we hope that when next we call you, which might not be too far away, we get to see you present another poem for us.
All right, definitely.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 minutes to time, and we are trying our best to ensure that we always keep the time on everything. So if we say we are ending 9:30, we are ending 9:30, we are not adding any extra time, and we are not doing any other thing, so that people would learn to trust us. So, having said that, I would like to thank every single person who has performed this evening, all the way from KJ to Michael. Thank you very much for all the lovely poems. Thank you to all our audiences across the various channels on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. Thank you very much for listening to us and for being such an amazing audience. We hope that the next time we have our open mic, you would still be available to come and listen to us again, and more importantly, to engage and perform. We'll try to see how we can make room for more engagement and make more room for people to, applaud or do other things. But to remind us again that the Benue Book and Arts Festival continues, we'll be having another panel or a panel discussion on Friday discussing contemporary Nigerian literature. That panel will be led by Kao TV and a group of other fascinating speakers. It would be streaming on all our platforms, and you can just log into any of our platforms by 7 o'clock. Yeah, by 7 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Nigerian time, and you'd be able to listen to that beautiful conversation. The Benue or the Makurdi version of the Benue Book and Arts Festival is taking place in Makurdi on 21st and 22nd with a welcoming night on the 20th of February. We would also have an Abuja version a week later. The Abuja version is also the Savage Literary Festival, which would be done in conjunction with Konya Shamshrumi. We would like to thank all our partners. There are several of them, including the Goethe Institute, the Journal of African Youth Literature, Small Business Big World, I remember that, and the several other people who keep on supporting us in various ways. Rock Solid Pixels, the Savage Literary and Development Initiative, and everyone else wherever you are. I definitely wasn't going to remember. I definitely wasn't going to forget Custodians of African Literature and Andrew Patience, Bash Amuneni, and all our other supporters. Thank you very much. And it's left for me to say thank you again. Have a very good night rest, and the festival continues. Whatever you do this night, have a beautiful night rest, and God bless you. Cheers.